Hello, everybinary, and welcome to Monsterhearts 2, Ebon Carnival's Sideshow. Ebon Carnival is a framework written by me, Sawyer, also known as Ferret. I really don't care which one you call me. I use he, him pronouns, but am not really bothered by any others. I got all these wonderful role players with me off the Gauntlet Hangouts Slack. Gauntlet is a place for role players who are really into the entire shtick of role playing. And if you want some good role players, you should check out the Gauntlet itself. We also release codexes, which hopefully this will be in a codex coming up eventually. With that said, let me introduce my fine players, and they can introduce their characters and give a bit of backstory about what happened last time. So, Alexi, would you introduce yourself and your character?
Hello, I am Alexi, he, him. I'm playing Arden Sunderland, the unicorn, in this campaign. Arden is a idealist, struggling with the reality of a carnival that is run by a woman who wants to drain his heart's blood into a goblet and drink it, or rather give it to her protege, Cecilia, to drink, who we'll hear from in a moment. Arden is friends with Sammy, the witch, and the two of them are figuring out now what to do about the darkness they've encountered at this carnival that Arden has such dreams for and believes Sammy will bring magic back to. Is that good for a recap?
That is very good. Up next, Stephen, would you introduce yourself and your character?
I'm playing Cecilia the Harpy, who is the protege of Madame Tribute, who runs the carnival, and who wants to drain Arden's heart's blood, which is full of magic because unicorns are full of magic. And if Cecilia drinks this, she will gain great power and take over the carnival and lead it to new glory. And she was kind of having mixed feelings about that until she had a confrontation with Sammy and Arden last week, and Sammy put this hex on her that made her feel humiliated and ashamed, and that just drove her into a fury. And I don't think there's anything that's going to stop her now from getting her revenge. So good job, Sammy.
Lovely. Up next is Daryl. Would you introduce yourself and your character?
Yes, so, hi, I'm Daryl. My pronouns are he, him, and I am playing Rodney the Minotaur, whose pronouns are also he, him. So up to this point, Rodney has been the muscle of the circus. He's the right-hand man of Cecilia, and he's the one who goes around doing all the dirty work, including smashing up suburbs if that's what needs to happen. A couple of episodes ago, he stomped his way through the hearts and beds of a couple of the other characters, and then last episode he wasn't too happy to pay the price for that course of action. He got into a confrontation with Arden and Sammy just as they were trying to steal something from my boss, and it didn't go well, especially when Sammy put that whammy on to Rodney and made him feel all sorts of terrible feelings that just made that Minotaur lash out against everyone and everything. It eventually drove him to potentially making some sort of bargain with the unicorn hunters, including our own Betsy Harker, who is supposed to show up for our rendezvous. So we shall see where this goes.
Thank you very much. And last but not least, Jesse, would you introduce yourself and your character?
Hello, I am Jesse, pronouns he, him. I am playing Sammy the Witch, whose pronouns are they, them. Really, Sammy just wants to find a home. And, they thought they'd found one with Arden at the carnival. And then, there was some drama there. But they seem to have reconnected with their one close friend and love. Despite possibly because of the adversity that Mother Tribute has imposed on him. And they've also had some conflicts which required them to hex Cecilia and Rodney. But to be fair, all that hex did was turn around the feelings they'd given to them, and made the two carnies feel what Sammy felt. Whether that was wise or not remains to be seen, but they do think it was fair. And yeah, where we last found Sammy, they had Arden's head in their lap, I believe, sitting on the boardwalk in front of the Solace ice cream parlor.
Yes, and I believe your coven was showing up at the last minute too.
That's right. I in an attempt to find a home, I have also hooked up with a coven of witches in the town of Haven. And perhaps they will finally, welcome me in the way that I hope to be welcomed.
Sounds wonderful. So, with that out of the way, as usual, I will see if there are any scenes that anyone else wants to frame. I think we'll be picking up pretty much exactly where we left off last time without a time skip, if everyone's okay with that. Because if there isn't a scene that is wanted to be framed, I will probably hard frame outside of Solace and continue on with the Coven showing up. If everyone's fine with that.
Okay.
Okay. So, while Sammy is having Arden's head in their lap, with the drinks before them, the kindness sort of radiating from Solace, a shadow falls upon the table, and followed by another one, and another. Danielle, once like Sammy turns to look, there is Danielle Evans, Andrew Stanley, and Alice Reliqua. And they look a bit not angry, not more worried than anything. Like things have progressed faster than they thought might have. And Andrew is holding this rather sort of scorched tome that and you remember, just to remind people, he is a janitor at the school, which may have almost been burned in the school fire, perhaps. And Danielle looks down and gives sort of a wistful smile. This is a cute scene, but I think we are all needed right now, that you might be in danger. What do you do?
We're very clearly in danger, sort of, globally. But do you have any reason to think we're... First of all, how did you find us? Do you have any reason to think we're at risk right now?
Sammy, they're magic. That's how they found us.
Actually, it was a GPS on the phone, but
You're tracking me with your phone?
no, not you. Arden.
What? Wait. How
That
are you even
doesn't
doing
make
that?
me feel good.
And they, I think Danielle looks a bit askance. Like, there's lots of programs out there if you pay a small fee.
I'm not sure. You want us to trust you? You've been tracking us? You've been tracking him?
We've been trying to keep an eye on Arden because Haven may be named nicely, but as you've seen, it is far from it. The hunters came for our magic at the school. Andrew had kept some certain reagents, certain devices there near the science lab, of course, so no one would confuse them for something out of place. The attack on the school was not random; it was planned. It is. Go ahead.
So someone was trying to burn down the school to get rid of your magic?
They were trying to get rid of our storage, the book that we had there. This is, and like Andrew like holds up the tome and he starts speaking. This is one of the rarer, more esoteric of these practical applications. They hold powers that may even affect people like you, Arden. Not negatively, mind you, but unicorn hunters don't want the unicorns to have any extra protection after all.
Can I see that?
And you can, but it'd be like trying to read Cyrillic or Hebrew when you have never seen the language being written before. It is in a language that you don't recognize.
Would I be able to decipher it?
Sammy definitely would. This is what I'll ask Sammy. What language is this written in that Sammy knows?
So here's the thing. I don't think, like I said, Sammy's awakened and doesn't really have any actual education in magic.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're not even really taught, right? It like comes from instinct and gut. I don't know that Sammy really understands much more than like English and high school French.
Okay, so this is just sort of like an innate understanding of this ancient
right. That's sort of like maybe it's Atlantean actually. Maybe that's what it is.
Go ahead.
Maybe it's
yeah.
Maybe it's in Atlantean and like Sammy has just like an innate magical understanding. Although I kind of like the idea that it might also be a little bit in high school French.
Maybe like that's like how it translates in your brain, like
right.
It comes in like to French in your brain.
I like the idea that the pages are Atlantean, but when Sammy looks at it, it like changes to high school French in front of their eyes.
Right, and it's like Sammy can't, like Sammy has high school French. They can't really read French very well, so it's still a struggle. Like they can make it out kind of, but like it's not. It's that kind of struggle to sort of like really understand. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so what do we see there?
You see certain like lots of spells about purity, cleansing, like panacea thrown about, but it's mainly about protecting the vulnerable, protecting those that are being hunted. And you see like drawings of like the golden stag, a unicorn, the simmer from Indian myth, like these rare creatures that need to be guarded from the greed of man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I mean, I communicate that to Arden and say, at least this is what they want us to believe, but I don't know. How do you feel about being tracked without consent? How do you feel? They say they want to protect you, and I obviously want to protect you, but yeah, I'm not fully comfortable with them, what they've done.
I get a weird feeling too, Sammy, but they seem like the most benevolent of the forces we've encountered recently.
That's fair, Arden, and like I said, I would, if this is what you need, I'm happy to do what it takes to help you with what you need.
This book might be the key to everything.
And I think Andrew it was stepped closer to you guys once he handed the book over, and he offers a hand out to Arden. It's like, if you don't trust us, we understand. We've had to do things that are a bit creepy, for lack of better terms. But to be fair, do you think we're the only ones hunting Arden right now?
We've
I mean-
seen a couple others.
And at least our hunt does not end in blood spilled, but magic circles being made.
I think Arden like looks questioningly at Sammy, but turns to the Coven and says, I think we share a common goal and can work together. We'll trust you as long as you prove yourselves trustworthy.
And Danielle sort of gets this. She has like the rigid matron face. It's just sort of like, this is not time to argue. It's like, we have taken Sammy in. We have offered protection. We have not done anything to harm you. How much else do we need? What else do we need to do to prove that we are on your side?
Help us save the carnival. I think we need to gather our allies, the people who are friendly or sympathetic to us, expose the darkness that Mother Tribute is working, and make her relinquish the carnival so that it can be a force for good again.
And go ahead.
And just Sammy like nods tightly like a.
Yeah. And Alice finally speaks up. Do you intend to make it travel again?
Thinking back to his vision, Arden says, I think that may be what it needs to do. Something has trapped it in Haven that has sapped the spirit of the carnival. It can become a force for wonder once it is able to move freely.
And they nod and murmur amongst themselves a bit, but are sort of like one of the motions for you to come with them. Do you two go with, or do you go with the Coven? You two.
I look to Arden.
Arden looks to Sammy.
I'm like, if you, so we sort of are looking into each other's eyes, I guess, in this moment.
Yeah.
And I say, if you feel this is what you need, they've treated me well. I felt before like I wasn't earning my place with them. But maybe they're really the kind of benevolent good that you've been hoping for and looking for. And that's a gamble we need to take for your dream to come true, for your visions.
Yeah, Arden nods. I think so.
Yeah, and I guess I go sort of follow them, like just sort of walk in the direction they're indicating.
Okay, and Arden, you did not disregard others' wishes, so mark integrity. And we will cut scenes. I believe Cecilia and Rodney were left at the carnival last game. So we can is there a place where you two would like to be? Or shall I do a hard frame like I did here?
I think we had talked about going to the cave on that island, but I'm actually fine with doing whatever, so.
Oh, I remember you were going to do the ritual at the cave.
Yeah, I think we were planning to do the ritual there, but but first we need to abduct Arden.
Yeah. And this could maybe let's start at the carnival then. Where like well, at least Cecilia, do you want to like maybe be gathering allies at the carnival, or at least I'll ask a leading question then. Is Mother Tribute going to uh, be sought after for this before you do this ritual, Cecilia?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm going to consult her because I don't think Mother Tribute has explained in detail what I need to do in the ritual.
Sounds good.
Whether it's enough to drink the heart's blood or whether there's something else I have to do as part of that.
Yeah, and so I think you two are like walking through the carnival. There are still people out front in the parking lot trying to boycott the carnival, trying to make it move, but not no. Like, there are like a few of the carnival people and like the ticket taker who are out there making sure that none of them cross into carnival grounds and get angry or uppity. And you guys are walking through when but Mother Tribute's not at her trailer. She will be I think setting up or watching Ringleader King um, do his his illusion act, while she's like teaching him how to do sleight of hand and fake magic that she knows how to do to not waste what little real magic she has left in her body. But when Cecilia and Rodney start walking up to her, she dismisses King, and she seems a bit older already. Like there's a bit more gray at her temples. Like her time is coming near, and she smiles. Oh, Cecilia, you have the goblet again, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. She smiles widely when she sees you have the chalice, and motions for you both to come to like the carnies part of the tent, like where you'd all eat or just speak together. She sits down at one of the picnic tables and motions for Cecilia to sit next to her and Rodney to sit on the opposite side like he's supposed to. You did well. You've gotten it back. That damnable beast almost took it.
Beast is not so much a problem as his little friend.
Yes, I've not dealt with such a crafty warlock in some time. I thought that, well, those beings go hand in hand. Unicorns spread their gift with those they sometimes like or sometimes are in their life. It's unfair, but that's why what they have can be taken, can be concentrated, can be used.
Well, that assumes that we can get to the little unicorn when they've got that little firecracker around protecting them. Any advice on how we might diffuse the situation?
Well, Rodney, you could punch her. You could punch them out. That little cocky androgyne doesn't look like they'd be able to take a punch from you.
Tried that once. Didn't go so well, actually.
Sad. And she pulls out this. It should be a purse. It looks just more like a computer bag almost. And she pulls out this small. It looks almost like a billy club made of wood. It's like, this is made of different woods grown together and carved together. It should prove useful against enchantments. It should prove useful against illusions. It should also be a good bludgeon, and may be able to crack through that magic.
I kind of like take it in my hands and like whack it against my palm a couple of times, and I say, "Oh, well, hopefully it won't just be magic it cracks through."
And like every time you crack against your palm, like it smells of like different poisonous plants, like hemlock or aconite or belladonna. Like a different burst of scents comes every time.
Yes. And once the little warlock is taken care of, we will need to act quickly, I think.
You will need help, and my time is coming near. I'm not sure if I'd be strong enough to do the ritual. I do have an ally in Haven, though. I don't know if either of you have ever met him, but I'm sure you've heard of him. Moses, the Collector?
Really? I have met him. I would not have thought. I would not have thought him to have the the resolve for a task of this nature.
He, when we met, oh, 2 centuries ago almost, he was a big game hunter. Manticore, Griffin, Chimera. Heraldic stuff that doesn't really do much but give you bragging rights. We dallied together, and I taught him how to make use of the real parts of what he collected, to make sure his collection gave him power beyond just looking pretty and giving him money. He's coming to the end of his half-life too, but he has more verve than I do left.
And shouldn't we be afraid that he would try to claim the prize for his own?
He's exactly like I am, tolerant. But of course, I haven't jacked my blood up with Chimera Ichor, or I think he even tried to snort dragon scale powder once.
Sounds like a pretty fun guy.
Oh, very fun. I have 2 children by him. Great lover. Very giving. And she smiles and reaches into the bag again and pulls out this necklace which has a different gem for each planet in the solar system on a silver chain. And she grins. This was the first present my mother ever gave me when I turned. Well, age and womanhood were different back in my day. But Cecilia, you have grown into a fine young woman. I will bequeath this upon you. It is my most treasured possession. The star sapphire rings are dime a dozen, but this is real.
And I take the necklace and I examine it closely.
And you'll be able to see like these are like almost like marble-sized gems, each one of them, and they are all real. You know, a real sapphire, a real ruby, a real emerald, on and on. It looks like something a crow would like die for.
Yes. Yeah. I smile, and this is quite lovely, Mother. Thank you.
But I will deal with the carnival today. I will make sure that those who are on my side are on your side. I hope to see you after this, but you two should go to Moses's place. I will give him a call and let you know you're coming. He should help you hunt down that blasted skittish beast. But the moon is tonight. It should be done soon. Or the moon shall be rising soon. Once we get Arden, the moon will rise. Narrative convenience.
And I think that at that point, like Rodney stands up and was just like, "Well, sounds like we have a hunt."
Yes.
Oh, and I think Mother Tribute's going to spend her string on Rodney to tempt him. If Sammy has any magical artifacts around them when you find them, bring them back to the carnival. Cecilia should be able to flex the powers she's given after all. So you are tempted to bring back magical stuff.
And I'm going to accept that temptation and mark experience so that I can level up.
Yay! And with that, I think you two are headed off to Moses's place then?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think does Rodney want to converse with Betsy before this is
I think that yeah, like I think there's this like it's like one of those like scenes where it's like the chat bubbles like pop up over the phones, and it's just like, hey, gonna have to meet up later. Gotta go meet some old fogey and get some stuff.
and she texts back like, "Oh, I thought you were into men close to your age. When'd you get into the G DILFs?"
I mean, if they pay, I sway.
And she just texts back, "Gross. This better be useful." And I need to since Alexia is gone, I was going to cut scenes, but I also really need to use the bathroom because I have drunk nearly 4 cups of
Okay.
water before this. So I will be right back.
Okay.
Okay, so Jesse is here and Alexi is back. So we will cut to them. And I think that this is going to be at Danielle's library. This large building that has several different kinds of tomes around it, but you guys don't get the full view of everything. She leads you around, leads you downstairs with Alice and Andrew, and there's this sort of horror movie esque kind of like vibe to the like there are it's dark, it's kind of dank. There seem to be sigils written about where other people might think this is satanic or evil. uh, Sammy gets the feeling that these are just wards of protection writ up. There's even a small gargoyle above the room where you guys are led, and inside are several is like this casting room, for a lack of better terms, with different markings on the ground, a place to make a large circle on the ground, shelves full of different ingredients, reagents, all that type of thing. And
So this is where the magic happens.
this is one of the places, Andrew says.
Is this set up for a particular spell right now?
It's not a particular spell until we use the correct ingredients, but we might have to make do with what we can find now. We're in a bit of a rush. And, I think this is a time for Sammy to probably keep their cool, to be able to see if they like all the proper ingredients are around. But I will allow this since this will be towards protecting Arden, you may use that +1 forward, and your gang is helping you, so you may take another +1 forward to roll at a total of +1 instead of -1.
Thank you. Yeah, and so I think the fear is just that we're not actually like gonna be able to. Well, I think the fear is that I'm not gonna be able to like keep my shit together, like to do this. And I think what I'm actually a little bit doing is like, as I look around for those ingredients, like you described, like it's actually sort of like I'm looking for an excuse to bail.
Ooh,
Right?
okay.
Like I'm like, and like I need to sort of like the move says keep my cool, and and like keep my shit together. But if this will be like a good excuse for me not to, if I can't, if I don't see what I need to.
Gotcha.
So that is an 11.
Okay, you don't only keep it cool. You may ask a question about the scene at hand.
So yeah, I think I just ask, like what are they expecting to get out of this? What's their
This
ulterior motive?
this is a bit selfish in the fact that if the more unicorns that die, the less magic there is in the world. Unicorns are like in this world. The reason there are witches, warlocks, or whatever you want to call them, are because unicorns exist. It's a symbiotic relationship. Should Arden die, there's less power for them to use.
Okay. Yeah, and I think I sort of like I'm looking around the room and I'm seeing like the various different spell components and like accoutrements of magic, and I think I'm kind of like feeling the way Arden's magic is flowing from him, like out to them and through them to the spheres, and how the magic of the spheres is like flowing backwards. Like there's this like highway of magic that's sort of like moving and rippling throughout the room as Arden enters and moves around, and I'm feeling that, and so I sort of like realize, and sort of like realize, oh, like this is what this is about. And I think I suddenly feel good about things. I say to Alice, not to Danielle. I say to Alice, I think I'm starting to understand what you're about. You really just want to protect the magic, keep the magic alive.
And Alice nods. Like, not everyone can touch it, not everyone can use it, but everyone should be able to benefit from it. And I think like everyone is finding like the perfect amount of ingredient. Like, there's the special type of salt that you use to make the circle. There is enough powdered silver to make a certain sign. Arden is laid in the middle of the circle, and like when Danielle stands over Arden, it's like, I need your cell phone.
Why?
We tracked you on it. Do you think others can't?
Arden kind of pulls it out. I bet it's like a flip phone,
Yeah.
right?
Okay, well, this ruins their ability to throw it on the ground and break it then, because the Nokia would just break the circle. She takes it and just like she snaps it in half. And it's like, we'll get you a new one later.
Okay, I'll trust you.
And Andrew is like reading from the books. Like, we need one final thing. And I think all three of them turn to Sammy in this sort of creepily symbiotic move. It's like, there needs to be love for the one protected. You will need to be the one to read and pronounce this spell.
And I say, that's. Are you comfortable with that, Arden?
I think Arden nods. Of all the people in this room, Sammy's the one that Arden trusts the most.
Okay. So, I think because this is a spell, just to see how this works, this will be a dark roll. Or it'll function as a keep your cool, but with dark. And your coven is aiding you, so you will get a +1 forward. And if you want to if you feel this applies the question you asked with keep your cool, you can add another +1 forward.
I'll say yes. It does, just in the sense that it's like I'm like, I can relax into this. I trust. Like now I trust that they're not lying to me, and this is going to turn into some kind of blood sacrifice out of nowhere.
Gotcha.
Right, which was my fear.
And while we're setting stakes, if this goes off, a spell of protection, will that be enough to clear Arden's condition anxious?
Oh, definitely.
Nice.
That can count as I mean, how anxious will you be with old protection magic on you?
Great. Then it's all riding on your roll there, Sammy.
My +4 roll.
Yeah, the highest you can get in Monsterhearts, I believe.
Yeah.
And
Snake eyes. No.
It's a 5, which makes it a 9.
Woohoo! So you will so to make if this spell goes off, let's see. Hard choice, bargain. The spell is tied to Sammy's love for Arden. It will only work when Sammy is in Arden's presence.
Okay. Do we know that?
Yeah, you will know that it is powered by your feelings for Arden, and so like you will need to be present for your feelings to protect Arden.
Okay. You have to stay close to me, Arden. The spell only works when we're close, and presumably, so long as this is out of character now. But presumably, so long as I continue to have these feelings, right?
Correct.
Like if something were to somehow or another interfere with our relationship, that could also.
Yeah, and I think mechanically the way this spell works, like the first time Arden takes 4 harm, it will transfer to Sammy. So it's not like an invincibility spell.
Got it.
Damn it, Cecilia. And at the end of this this spell, Danielle falls to her knees and begins coughing. Andrew looks woozy, and Alice's eyes roll back in her head, and she braces herself against a table. It has taken a lot out of your coven,
Guys, coven folks, are you okay?
None of them are responding yet. They're just breathing really heavily.
I put my hand on Alice's shoulder. Are you all right?
I'll be fine. It takes a lot for those who are not connected to one such as Arden to work the magic back in on itself. It is an Ouroboros in a way, that we force the snake to eat its own tail.
If I'm a source of magic, like you say, is there anything I can do to help you? I really am grateful, and I don't want to leave you all drained.
We will be fine in time. You should just survive. That will be the best gift you can give us.
Okay. Survive. Adding that to the to-do list.
And they and I think Danielle motions for Andrew, and he pulls out this notebook, and inside are a list of unicorn hunters they know for sure in Haven, but the only Betsy's not on this. The one person that Arden does recognize, though, is Moses Motley Morrison.
No. Moses Motley Morrison, he was the one who helped us. You're saying you know he's a unicorn hunter?
And Andrew just sort of shakes his head. Not just unicorns. Anything mystical or magical he could put down, he's done. He's an addict for their powers, their abilities. He does what he can for his fix.
He did have those weird skulls on the wall, but I thought they were probably just heirlooms or something.
They're heirlooms of hunts. He is a dangerous one, even beyond that facade.
It's like everyone in this town except for the Coven of Witches is out to get me.
And I think Danielle chuckles. I'm sure many people don't care if you live or die here. Don't be so dramatic.
Well, that's a relief.
And I think Alice is getting back up. It's at least the people at Solace seem to like you. And I'm sure there are several people in the carnival that actually do like you.
That's what I'm counting on. I think that's our next step. Don't you, Sammy? Gather the folks we think would side with us in the carnival if they understood what Mother Tribute really is.
We could talk to Vikram.
Absolutely.
I think it's actually either still in my trailer or maybe I left it in my trailer. I still have that sword I polished for him.
And Rhonda likes me. I bet we could bring her around.
Yeah. So you two are heading to the carnival?
I think that's our next step.
Yeah.
Okay. And we shall then cut to Cecilia and Rodney arriving at Moses Motley Morrison's grand mansion in Haven. Do you? I think like this isn't a gated. It's a Mick mansion, for lack of better terms. It looks like it's been built with no sense of style or what is good for the people around it as well. It's just gaudy. But how do you approach?
And I think, I think we approach openly. We go up to the front door and ring the doorbell.
Yeah, and Moses himself will answer. There are no servants. There's nothing like that. But you like inside. You can smell like this aromatic wood. This um, wonderful dinner that is being made at the moment. And Moses looks down at Cecilia. Oh, my friend from the island! It is so great to see you. What has brought you to my house?
A mutual friend suggested that we further our acquaintance. Good sir, you have been hiding your glories from me.
And do you have your necklace on?
No, I mean, not. No, I think I wasn't going to wear that while I was walking through town, but I opened my bag and I let him catch a glimpse of it.
And like his eyes like glint dangerously. Like Rodney realizes the danger in his eyes.
Yeah, and I
Definitely.
snapped the purse shot.
And
Uh,
he grins more ferally than he did before. Come in, come in. I'm making chowder. I hope you enjoy clams.
So, sorry, sir, I don't think we'll be staying for dinner. We just heard that you were a rather excellent monster hunter, and we wanted to get some advice.
Oh, that I am, my son. But please, you should have enough time for a small meal. For sure. I mean, it'll be hard enough to teach you how to properly vivisect a unicorn.
oh, that that is not the part that we are concerned with.
And I also think I'd like to do that on an empty stomach regardless.
Yes, yes. Our question is how to separate the unicorn from its protector.
Oh, that is troublesome. Is it a warlock or is it a... Oh, what were those old terms? Apsaras? I forget. The East is so weird.
They can use magic.
Yes, I suppose you would call them a warlock, although they hardly seem worthy of the term.
Well, I owe your patroness, your patrona, a favor or three. She was such a wild thing in her day.
We've heard.
Oh, good, good. I hope she left out some details, but not all. And he bids you to come inside, and like you do see like the skulls on the wall, on the shelves, on the mantles, pictures of like paintings of ancient battles, the painting of Kronos eating Zeus, the rock that should be Zeus, as a sign, and he sort of waddles back to the kitchen. It's hard to imagine that someone this big and rotund is a monster hunter at all.
Do any of the skulls belong to a unicorn or a harpy or a minotaur?
Oh, my dear, that sounds like you might be afraid of something. Do you want to keep your cool?
Oh, why not? Yeah, yeah. I mean, yes, I think I'm afraid that he's hunted my ancestors, and I won't be able to control myself if I
Go
find out.
go ahead, roll.
That is an 11.
Oh, that should be a 12. Because you have cold 2, don't you?
Yeah, I've got cold 2. 12. Yeah. For some reason, I thought I rolled a 9.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you do know you will get a question, but I will answer first that yes, there is a minotaur skull or something that looks bovine. There is no unicorn accoutrement, but there are several feathers that do not seem to be able to be cleaned in a feather duster. That that's never has no dust on it. It is a showpiece.
Uh,
And do you have a question about this?
yeah. Think, how is he vulnerable?
Oh, he's he's tragically mortal. Knives, guns, harpy talons. As long as he has no weapon, he's vulnerable.
Yes, but I have the feeling that he always has a weapon.
No, he trusts you guys right now.
Yes, but we need him for the moment.
He's waddling, and I think Cecilia looks at the feather duster that's under this glass case, and even has like this cocky like pheasant under glass name tag, and it's just like this gut wrenching primal reaction of like, oh, that could have been my aunt.
Yes. Yes. There is a burst of anger which he keeps well concealed.
But he gets to the kitchen, and there's way too many books for them to just all be cookbooks. Hopefully, or he's just really enjoys all sorts of cuisine. But he reaches up and picks up like this old tome, which is like a Zalberg's Bestiary Mythical, which seems to be full of the best ways to deal with mythical creatures. Like he's flipping past, chimera, manticore, minotaur, Voldanyoi, unicorn. And he lays the book down. And I think this is sort of like Cecilia's, or like sort of like what Sammy went through. Like it's sort of like ye old English writing, very Shakespearean, but it makes sense to her when she reads it, and it is explaining the ritual, like under the blue moon, draw the unicorn, uh, like place the unicorn in the specific position, like depending on form. If they are in equine form, like so. If they are in human form, like so. Uh, Draw out the heart at the nadir of the moon, generally from midnight to 3 a.m. And there's like a special way to drain the heart into the chalice under the moon. Then you drink it, and you'll be infused with all the younger the unicorn, the more magic you get. It seems as the less they have put out into the world.
Yeah. Okay. And I ask him how he would recommend distracting a warlock.
Well, they're basically humans with magic. If you can injure them, if you can make it so that they cannot access their spells, or sometimes even throwing some salt in their face tends to do it. But I'm not sure if that's because it dries out their eyes or it actually has witch harming powers.
Oh, either will do. Yes, you have been very helpful. And
And then Rodney kind of like, as soon as you say that, like takes that to mean you're done. It's like, hey, Gramps, so what's going on with this rather large cow skull over here?
Oh, that was one of my most recent acquisitions just a few years ago. I found this upstart bull in a club. Followed him home after slipping him something in his drink and took what was mine now.
And did he say it? And I like kind of like yank him around and like get up in his face, and I'm just like, I like tell him, I was just like, so then, do I look familiar?
He chuckles and I'm not a bigot, but I wouldn't say you look particularly like him. I mean, you two do share similar complexions.
And then I say like, I like kind of I pull him like even closer, and I'm like, someone like you probably kept other trophies. You have a wallet, you have ID, you have anything like that? I'm asking for a friend.
And he gets a bit. Now he realizes what's going on. And it's just like, I only keep what I feel is necessary from them. I'm not going to. I didn't kill him for money. I have enough of that.
That's it. And then I think I like slam him up against the wall, and I say, "You're going to tell me what I want to know right now, because or else you're going to feel what it. You're going to learn what it feels like to be vermin and prey."
And you see him just sort of sigh a bit. Live by magic, die by magic, it seems.
Is that the only thing you're going to say?
What was your brother's name?
Reggie.
And he chuckles like, some guy named Reginald or something called it. Looked like there was a nickname on his ID. Not that it matters to me. I got what I needed. Put up quite a fight. Said he had family needed to get back to. Probably should have asked which family that was. Could have gotten another one.
Well, too bad you're not going to get the opportunity, because the other one got you, and I'm going to lash out physically to try to like straight up just snap his neck.
Go ahead.
And that's barely a 7.
And so, what do you decide to that the MC decides how much harm it dealt? They gain a string on you, or you go your darkest self.
You can decide how much harm is dealt.
I'm going to be nice to you because apparently the die roller wasn't nice to you your last game. You like reach up, like like I think you like pull him up by the neck, and the years of overeating and just your strength plus his body weight snaps his spine. But he's not dead. He's just now a quadriplegic.
Oh gosh.
And I think he's like chuckling as like some blood is trickling down his mouth. It's not like I don't deserve this. I've killed so many of your kind in my life. It's what gave me purpose.
Wow. I think that. Oh my gosh.
that's enough, Rodney.
So,
The,
and I
the,
whip around
the poor man has suffered enough.
and I whip
And
around and I bellow at you. It's like,
I reached down and I put my hand on his face, over his mouth and his nose, and I
I'm gonna lash
pressed
out at you.
down.
Yeah, like Rodney like bellows at you and it's like, take your hands off of him. He's mine. And like lunges at you and will totally attack you if you don't back off.
That sounds more like you're trying to shut me down.
It
Yeah,
sounds like you
with
shutting
threats and
down a
violence.
bully. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's a 10. No, wait, hold on. It's an 11. Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you? They lose a string on you. They gain a condition. You take +1 forward.
Let's see. Do you have a string on me?
Oh yeah, I've got 4 strings on
Okay,
you.
yeah, you're gonna lose one of those. The whole loose cannon thing is definitely a little bit more than you bargained for.
Yeah, and I think Moses is chuckling and gurgling. You can't even be together and work. You're never going to kill that unicorn. You're going to die alone like your brother did, crying for mercy.
So yeah, Rodney's gonna like lean down on the ground, and then just like pummel his jaw so that like just bruise him up so that he can't talk, but not kill him.
You don't need to roll for that. He's at your mercy now. There's no. It's just in there, and like
Yeah.
he's just there. Like I think he's still like badly laughing, even though it hurts. Like
Mhm.
he is fine to die. He knew he was going to die soon.
Yeah, but it's basically like Rodney like gets up and like yanks the skull of his brother off the wall, and then like turns around and like says like, your trophies can watch you die. I'm not going to do you the favor of putting you out of your misery quickly. Lay here in your own filth, like the garbage that you are. And then I look at Cecilia and I'm just like, if you want my help, we're going to leave right now, and you're going to leave him right where he's laying.
This is unwise to leave an enemy alive.
It was unwise of him to do what he did to my family.
No question. I'm saying we should kill him before we go.
If I may, perhaps Cecilia turns off the fire on the stove and leaves the gas going. It'll
Yeah.
definitely make sure he's going to die.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll follow that suggestion. I trust this meets your satisfaction, Rodney.
If you must, as long as he doesn't get a quick death, let him burn to ashes.
Well, he'll most likely suffocate first, but you never know when a spark will strike. But we should, yes, leave now.
Yeah, and you guys definitely leave. And ooh, yeah. Let's cut back to Arden. This is a lot of like. I assume when these two groups meet up, it will be very volatile. So, you guys are heading back to the carnival. There are the protesters out in the driveway or the parking lot if you go through that area. But are you going through the parking lot, or are you going through like the woods to get there, sort of secretively?
I assume we're trying to go in whichever way will have us least noticed by Mother Tribute.
Gotcha. So
Whether like sneaky, like maybe going through the protesters is a good way to do that. I don't know, but
she's having people keep their eyes on the protesters. It probably would be a lot better to go through the forest around, like the way that the Rodney took you back to the carnival that night.
okay.
And it gets you right next to your trailer with the sword.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Yeah, we'll walk through the forest.
Mm-hmm.
So you two get on carnival grounds, and
What time of day is it, do you think?
it is dusk. So, which to me counts for your dark move, because the night is technically fallen.
Great. Yeah. I think if we're walking through the forest, Arden has taken his hat off. As long as we're kind of like in the trees, unseen by anyone else, and is just kind of like letting his horn, reflect the moonlight, which like feels right to him. It's like it's not not happy about having to hide under his hat all day, and just being out under the stars and moon is helping it. I'm trying to think if there's something in particular I want to gaze into the abyss about.
Well, are these people on your side?
Yeah, you know what? Let me roll to just see if he can have some kind of a sense of who will be our allies, right? And especially is there someone unexpected that can be one of our allies?
Good.
So I'm gonna make that roll with my +3 dark to get a 10. Yeah.
So your horn is radiating with the moonlight. It feels very strong with the blue moon, basically in the sky, and it's you get the sense of Vikram, and like it feels like a an adoptive family with the Sideshow.
Mm-hmm.
You feel Rhonda and the warmth that she has in her face and in her awful heart-stopping treats. But you also see the three lions that are in the zoo, the pride circling Ringleader King, but not like not predatorily, but protectively. And you see Ringleader King's eyes go from their usual brown to a glorious, very safe feeling blue as he looks up at the moon, like from this hole in the tent. And there's almost like this smile on his face as you feel a sense of kinship from him.
Sammy, I think we should talk to the ringleader too. He's always been an enigma to me, but something about the moonlight tonight is telling me that we can trust him.
If you say so, Arden. You say so.
Well, I do. Time to get our team together, right?
Sure. Our team for what exactly?
I think we need to tell Mother Tribute that she's not part of the circus anymore, and the circus is going to move on, and she can't come with it.
All right, I'm on board with that. If we have to move around, we can bring our home with us, and maybe some magic too.
Arden nods. So who first?
So if we can get to my trailer, I have that sword I polished for Vikram, and maybe that can be just like a way to start a conversation, and hopefully, I think he seems so sad about magic disappearing when I spoke to him last, and I was optimistic, and he didn't dismiss me like some of the other people do. And I think if we can convince him, then we can really make this happen. And then with the ringmaster on our side, those are people that people listen to.
All right. Then let's get that sword.
And I will push a prompt just in case. is there a prophecy Arden has that if they get all of these people together?
Oh, well, I've got all this integrity. So I may as well. Let me remind myself how that even works.
Do have a lot of integrity.
Yes. Yeah, I think he'll just say, basically, like spinning off of the vision he had, walking in the moonlight, and maybe this is as he's like preparing to put his hat back on, but he says, I believe when the time comes, if we have the circus behind us, then our enemies will be scattered to the winds. And let me roll that. How does this? Sorry, I roll with integrity, and
Then
then I
erase
erase one afterwards. Great. All right. Oh no! Oh no! That's a 6.
Oh. So, ooh. Oh, I think the Hank is smoking a joint by Sammy's trailer when you two arrive.
Yeah.
Sees Arden and Sammy, eyes go wide, looks at the weed, knows it doesn't make you hallucinate, and runs off to tell Mother Tribute.
Oh, we're gonna have to get those people together a little faster than we thought, Arden. I like dart into the trailer to grab the sword.
That's all right. We can do it. We can do it, Sammy.
Yeah. So you grab the sword. You are making your way to the sideshow. I will say to Rodney and Cecilia, at least Cecilia will get a text that says "Come back to the carnival" with a unicorn emoji. But yeah, I think our confrontation will be coming very soon. But you would at least well, I'll give you the opportunity. Do you want to go to the sideshow, to Rhonda, or to King? You will at least be able to get to one before Mother Tribute.
Should we split up so we could get to, or is that too dangerous? No, you have to be near me to be safe. Forget that idea.
No, but Sammy, we need to be fast if she's been tipped off.
It doesn't matter how fast we are. If they catch you without me, it doesn't matter. All this work we've done will be nothing.
I have ways of taking care of myself. I'll get back to you. Let's gather our allies.
I don't like this, Arden. And I'm like really torn here. Like on the one hand, I trust and respect Arden and obviously love him. And if he thinks this is the best way to go, on the other hand, I think this is a really, really, really bad idea, Arden. If you think it's worth it, I'll do it. I trust you, but it's a really bad idea.
I'm gonna, I'll spend a string to tempt you to go with this idea.
What do you say to me?
Yeah, I think Arden's like,
how do you use my love against me?
Sammy, you're the person I trust most here. But to do this, we need to be able to trust each other even when we can't see each other. So we'll meet back here as soon as we have what we need. So we're ready.
Yeah, I kiss him lightly on the cheek and walk off towards the sideshow, and I'm going to take that XP.
Nice.
Okay. So and Arden, you're going to Rhonda or King?
I'm going to go to talk to this ringmaster.
Gotcha. It might not do. It might. The confectionery might be a support class, but I don't see it helping much in the fight. Yeah. So Sammy, you make it to the sideshow, and I think like the because like the it's getting later in the night, they're gathering in like the sideshow tent because this is where the visitors come to see them all, and Vikram is getting ready to go on stage. You meet him backstage when he's not like going to go out right now, but he's like preparing for when his act comes. And you meet him backstage, and he sees the sword and how it's polished. His eyes light up. It's like, oh, great! I have been I've been missing the feeling of fullness when I've been doing my performance.
And I'm like panting because I was running quickly to get there. I'm like, Vikram, you said. I stop and I just take one deep breath. You said that magic was waning and that things were so bad you couldn't even find the appropriate polish for your sword. But I found your sword, and I think I found the polish, and I polished your sword. But it's more than just that. It's not just about the sword polish, you said, right? You said it's about how there used to be magic here, but it's going away. But I think we can bring magic back. I've been with Arden. We've been talking. All Mother Tribute does is suck the magic out of things to feed herself. We need to dislodge her from her control of the carnival, and we can take it back on the road, and we can bring magic everywhere. And Vikram, if I give you your sword back, will you help us?
I think he's a bit taken aback.
And
like,
that's, it's a string I'm spending to try to get him to do this.
And he's like, what? He probably will accept. It was like, whoa. So, and I think like there's enough like with this, there'll be like a small times like Mother Tribute literally takes is like literally a magical black hole. With her removed, we will have the magic kind of thing. And there's enough explanation that he agrees. He takes a sword, and you see him like do the thing where they spin the sword in one hand, and he grabs another one. It's like, well, it's been a while since I've used them in this manner, but I guess I can do my show tomorrow, and it won't be too disappointing, hopefully. And he clangs the swords together, and you just hear and he just smiles. Gooble gobble, you're one of us, Sammy. And you have the sideshow on your side.
Fantastic. I tell him I assume we had the dramatic parting. Did we establish a place to meet up?
Probably like at the maybe in the big top with the Ringleader King, like for
for dramatic effect. Yeah, I'm happy to say that's where we said we'd meet.
Yeah. And I race off towards the big top.
And Vikram will be gathering like the other side, like the fire breathers, the snake charmers, all that kind of stuff. And I think we will cut to Arden with Ringleader King, but there is a good chance that Cecilia and Rodney will show up during this scene, probably.
Legit, you gotta punish us for foolishly splitting the party. Where do I find the ringmaster?
You find him in he is this big the big tent is not ready for it, but there are lots of people outside. I think you're having to push your way through the line, through the crowd. Like they see the top hat, the gaudy clothing. It's like, oh, he probably is a performer. Or a really weird cosplayer for an anime I don't know of. And like you get in there, and Ringleader King is like putting like certain special kerosene in these hoops for people and animals to jump through, checking out clown cars to make sure they're tuned well enough so they won't like flip over or anything. But and you see like there are clowns running around. There are gymnasts who are like pulling out the nets. Like people are setting up for like the big show.
Mr. Ringleader? Mr. Ringleader, please.
And he turns, and he's quite statuesque. And he looks down at Arden. Please, call me King. You're the new boy in the circus. I don't think or the carnival. We haven't been introduced formally, have we?
Arden Sunderland.
That's great. And he's about to go into this diatribe of who he is, unless you, burst through.
I think we're the same, you and I.
Excuse me.
Do you ever see things in the moonlight?
I've been looking at the moon lately, but I can't say I have visions of it. Oh. I have been noticing some interesting things when I've been practicing my illusions lately, though.
Magic?
And he snaps his finger, and this dove flies out of his hands. I should have had that up my sleeve, but in fact, this has been happening since you've been here. And that friend of is your friend special? Mother Tribute seems to be worried about them. More worried about being displaced.
They're the most special person I've met, but it's about Mother Tribute that I need to talk to you. She's the reason the magic has gone away, and if she gets her way, it won't ever come back because she'll consume it all for herself or give it to Cecilia. But she wants to drink my blood with this chalice. I know it's a little far-fetched, but you believe this is real, right?
And
you know things.
And he looks a bit confused. I think you're going to have to keep your cool. Seems like the general move to go to, but maybe I think with that dark roll, you have that +1/4, just sort of maybe using it narratively to
do I get a +1 forward from that goes into the abyss?
From a 10 plus, you do. Yeah.
Nice. Do you? I don't have a string to pull.
Yeah. So, maybe even trying to shut him down by saying Mother Tribute is you're working for Mother Tribute. You're working for a monster.
That's legit. Just the gentlest possible shutdown from this naive unicorn being like, you're part of this circus. I'm sure you know that it could be really magical. So just open your eyes. We don't have much time. We don't have time for questions. We need to act.
Yeah. So roll that with the 0, I believe.
Yeah, because cold is -1. So this is just a flat roll, and I got a 9.
Okay, I assume you're going to want to take a string on him,
right?
And I think that he's not.
Oh yeah,
you're spinning. He's not giving you the condition, but I think the carnival itself is. You have the condition reagent.
Okay.
That is a extremely cool condition.
I'm excited for people to take advantage of that.
Yeah, and I think you spin the string, and he's looking. And maybe you spin the string like taking off your hat and showing the horn.
I was building up to that, and I think that's right. I think it's the moment where I'm like, look, it is real here, and I lift up the hat to show the glowing horn.
Yeah, and the moonlight coming in from that flap in the tent hits your horn. It glows beautifully, and his eyes go wide. And in his left eye, you see Cecilia at the entrance of the tent. In his right eye, Well, unless I'm mistaken, you'd see Rodney. Unless Rodney went off to do. Did Cecilia and Rodney separate in the carnival? One going after. Okay. So yeah, you see the two at the opening of the tent. I think this is where we'll have the 5-minute break and come back to the big climax.
Very nice. Thank you.
I see we are all back. And we have our mascot with us. So I believe it is time for the showdown between Arden, Cecilia, and Rodney, with Sammy bringing up the rear with the sideshow and coming in soon. But thank you, Kitty. But first, what do Rodney and Cecilia do once they see Arden talking to King?
I'm going to confront the ringleader, and this isn't your concern.
He looks. He looks at Cecilia. He's like, I believe it is. If what he's saying is true, then we can't let the magic be taken. It has to be spread to everyone.
I think when you go.
Yeah. That's not how magic works. If we leave him alone, it will simply be squandered, of no use to anyone. Magic must be taken, harnessed, controlled, or it is just wasted. It goes nowhere. It does nothing.
Oh, damn. Yeah, I think he takes a step in front of Arden and just puts himself between them, Arden and Rodney and Cecilia.
At that point, Rodney steps forward and is just like, you don't really want to get in the way of this. This has nothing to do with you. Things will be right back to normal by the end of the night.
I don't know what normal is anymore, Rodney.
You want the carnival to be normal? Under the thumb of that blood-drinking crone, unable to bring true wonder? This carnival hasn't kept magic alive, and it hasn't kept us safe. Rodney, do you think this place will keep you safe with Mother Tribute leading it?
And then Rodney whips around on you and it's like, don't you talk to me about safe. You think you can just waltz into my life and tell me that everything we're doing is wrong? I survived in this place for years before you or your little friend ever waltzed in here and thought you were so much better than us. So why don't you shut up and listen to the kind of magic that we do here?
And I promise you, the carnival will not be normal if we succeed. The carnival will be extraordinary. The carnival will be a refuge for everyone who is lost or afraid.
And I think at this time, like, several of the clowns and other performers are like stopped and taking a stock of what's going on and looking at King standing in front of Arden. And I think a few of them even notice Arden's horn. But I don't think all of them are on King's side.
I think Arden just like dropped his hat also. That like when he was talking to Ringleader King and then turned around to see Rodney and Cecilia, I think he just let the hat fall because he feels this is this is time for subtlety is over.
Yeah, and I mean I think Cecilia, it's like she hasn't transformed yet, but there is something eerie about her. She doesn't look quite human. And yeah, she's like, this is your last chance, King. Step aside.
And I think instead of that, he like snaps his hands, and all that he can really do is like this bright flash of smoke and powder emit as he tries to blockade you from Arden. What do you do?
I am going to lash out physically at him. It's like
Go ahead.
it's like full transformation. Like wings burst out of my back, and my hands turn into talons, and I fly at him. And let's see what
Rolling with +1. This should be fun.
that is. An 8, yeah. And
So, do you go your darkest self? Does he gain a string on you? Or do I decide how bad the harm is?
I think I'm going into my darkest self.
Understood. So, with Alkanost, you've dealt 2 harm. I think you leap through the smoke, your talons digging into King's shoulders, and like his arms that were like holding out the powder and smoke go down to his side. He cannot lift them, and you just tackle him to the ground, leaving an opening for Rodney to go for Arden.
Which Rodney very quickly takes and lunges forward and just like full on gut punch to Arden. For an 8.
Okay.
And I always close the reference sheet versus just leaving it open. And they learn something about your true nature and gain a string on you.
And you gain a string on him due to primal dominance.
Oh man, I have 5 strings on you.
But I've got one on, or I had 2 on you already, so now I have 3 on you.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think like, this is the moment when Sammy and the Sideshow arrive. Or like
What?
when Arden.
Yeah. What harm did I take from this?
You took 1 harm.
Okay,
because
great.
And I think that
Arden stumbles backwards.
Yeah, and the thing that you like learn about me is that like, you know, you keep talking about how you're going to make this place so much better and how it's so much greater, but then like you just see like the angry tears like rolling down Rodney's face, and you realize that this was already his home, and you're just coming in and you're fucking everything up, and that's what he really feels about all this.
Hmm.
I think I come in and like I think my angle on this is from behind, so I don't see Rodney's face, and I definitely don't see those tears. Right, I just see Rodney punching Arden in the gut, and Cecilia tangling with King. I obviously zero right in on Rodney, and I shout, Rodney. When we first got here, and you told me that you wanted to help me out, and that all of the stuff that you did, all of the pain that you caused was for my own good. I'm gonna call that. I want to say that. Was for my own good. Well, you're full of shit.
And are you trying to shut me down, or is that you just thinking?
I mean, I think so. I think it's just like a general introduction. I think that leads into right. I thought you had integrity, but you're just a tool of Cecilia and Mother Tribute. Basically, I have this string. I want to try and figure out what I want to ask you. Right? That's like a reasonable ask with a string. Like you're not going to back down. You're not like I know you're not going to accept the string for that. You're not going to like come out of this conflict, but like I will like I'm trying to think of an ask that might like de-escalate a little bit. I think maybe let's just say like, if you really want what's best for everybody, it's kind of what you said to me once upon a time. Let's calm down and talk about this. And I'm offering you a string to tempt you to like just de-escalate out of violence.
Yeah. So you
Which is
said
a hard
like
thing. Which is a hard thing to ask of a Minotaur.
you also said like the exact wrong thing because
Of course,
yeah,
I did.
yeah. So like, and that's the point where like almost as if he's like literally smacking your like good intentions out of the air, like whips around on you and just screams at you. It's like you think that I'm not helping you. You think that I'm not going to save you from a short life of torture, following this little thing around, trying to save it every single time that someone gets a look at that shiny little horn on its head? Your life is going to be nothing but torment of you trying to save him, and it's never going to work, Sammy. So yeah, I'm trying to save you. I'm trying to save my family. I'm trying to save everyone here because the real problem is this. And like points down at Arden.
Is that a shutdown? Sure as
Yeah.
hell feels like one.
Yeah,
it does.
but I am
That
not. But I'm not like threatening you, so it's going to be with my -1 cold, which makes it a 3.
Wonderful.
Oh, so yeah. Sammy, what did you What was in your trailer that Rodney left? That's a sympathetic token.
Oh. Can Rodney tell me why he was in my trailer?
Oh, or wait, no. Maybe you have Rodney's eyes. You can now cast like a hex on him, and like, or this. I think just gain a string on him. He's let his true intentions be known.
Okay.
Sorry.
Now I have another string on Rodney here.
Rodney has his back to me,
Yes.
and he's berating Sammy.
Yes.
Great. I'm gonna gore him with my unicorn horn. Oh
I love Leah's reactions.
no! Because he's a bad influence. And you know, like much as I try to save everyone, some people just make it really hard.
Roll it.
All right, so I'm rolling plus volatile and plus bad influence. Yes, is
Yes.
that great? All right. I think Arden like says not like so as anyone can hear him necessarily, but a little bit like, Rodney, why did you make me do this? Oh, come on. That's a 5.
Wow. This is yeah, so you trip and you fall in front of the harpy who is tearing at King. Cecilia, you see the unicorn laid out right before you, ready for the plucking.
Yeah, but see, there's this prophecy that I can't lay a claw on him.
Oh, right, because of the. Oh, yes, but
But I think maybe I need to keep my cool, or I'm going to try. I'm going to fulfill the prophecy.
go ahead.
Yeah, so that is a 9.
With your cold or just by itself?
With my cold.
Okay, so you're really angry, but I think if you leave Arden to Rodney's mercy, you can focus on Sammy.
Yes, that is what I'll do. Yeah, so I'm going to I'll leave Arden. I'll leave the ringmaster rolling on the ground covered in blood, and I am going to fly at Sammy.
The prophecy
And that-
applies to Sammy too. Just you know, for the record.
I thought the prophecy was just if they hurt Arden, that the
I
pain
don't
would come
remember.
back.
I don't remember what was the exact phrasing.
If
Yeah,
I
it
recall
might have been either of them.
If I recall correctly, Arden said, "If you lay a dirty claw on either of us, you will fail."
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Well,
Okay. So,
well, there are the sideshow people behind
Right.
Sammy
I
too.
mean, you also
Yeah.
you also have hands.
True.
Like
Right. Right. No, I mean, I think, yeah, I think I'm going to shut down the sideshow people. I'm going to fly at them, threatening in my full supernatural terror.
Ooh, good. And this technically counts for lightning talons too. So
Yeah, come to think of it, it definitely does. So let's see. Yeah, that's an 11. So
okay, so I'll
yeah,
say,
yes.
are you going to gain a string on one of the sideshow performers? Are you going to um, give them a condition or take +1 forward on your next roll?
I mean, I think I'll give them a condition of terrified.
Okay, and what intangible possession do they lose? Which I would probably prompt their courage.
Yeah, that seems reasonable.
Yeah, I think they came thinking they were going to deal with a 16-year-old girl. They did not come planning to deal with a harpy.
Right.
So they're shaking. You're flying over Sammy. Um, I think Sammy sees Arden in front, like fallen next to Rodney. Rodney is screaming at Sammy. Sammy, what do you do?
excellent question. I think Sammy, I guess the question is sort of like how I know you're Cecilia, you're threatening the sideshow, but like how close are you to me? And like where do you stand in relationship to like me and Arden, or are you flying in relationship to me and Rodney and Arden?
I mean, I think I'm flying overhead, and I was swooping down at the carnival people. So, I mean, I might be within reach if you were very quick,
I'm
but
trying to
it
figure.
would be hard for you to catch my eyes, 'cause I'm
Right. So
moving very
I'm trying to
quickly.
figure out like and are you no longer an obstacle to me getting across to the center of the ring?
Um, I mean, I think if you tried to approach Arden and Rodney, I could swoop to intercept.
Okay, right.
It's
So that's
very
like so like I sort of like see you there and I realize I'm not going to get to them without dealing somehow
right,
with you first.
right.
And yeah, so I think I want to shout up to um to Cecilia. Um you know what I actually want to do? Um I'm like looking up at Cecilia and trying to catch her eyes, and like I just can't do it, right? She's like swooping around, she's moving very quickly. Um and I think my eyes end up um like um like unfocusing out into the distance as I'm like trying to chase her. Um and like something sort of like clicks in me and I'm gazing out into the abyss.
Understood.
Um and I forget, do I ask the question first or do I roll first and then ask?
You ask the question first, usually.
Right, yeah. So the question um so the question here is uh how like I think what I'm sort of realizing is regardless of what happens, like the carnival is over. Like this kind of conflict within the carnival, ringmaster on one side, even Mother Tribute's faction can't really hold it together for much longer after something like this. And we brought it. And what I kind of want to know, my question is, like, what can we do? What can I do to de-escalate, to just end this conflict?
Understood.
That is a 14.
Damn. So yeah,
A fail would have also been nice, but this is good too.
I will turn to, yeah, I say surrender would work, but I will turn to Cecilia and Rodney, is there anything Sammy can say or do to get you on their side?
I think that, like, in his own way, Rodney has extended his hand to Sammy so many times and had it just slapped back. So, like, short of, like, publicly, like kind of like owning up to like the partial truthfulness of what he's said all along about how like his loyalty to Arden is just like too blind, and like that he needs to like decry Arden in some way, and that would be the only way that Rodney would believe that you actually have anyone else's best interests at heart, and that it's not just your selfish like fixation on Arden.
Actually, I came up with an idea while you're thinking. You need to destroy the chalice. Then the ritual can't take place.
Right.
And Rodney has the chalice. Well, I think Cecilia probably had the chalice on her, but I think if I'm correct, the purse with your necklace is not on you currently as you're swooping around. It might be near King.
Yeah, let's say that it's fallen on the ground, but it will be difficult to approach without me noticing.
Oh, definitely. I didn't say it'd be easy. I just say you need to destroy the chalice.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm going to be very upfront here. I think Rodney's idea is more interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'd
So
be fine.
I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to say to Arden, we're here to help and bring the magic back, but all we're doing is driving deeper and deeper wedges between the people who live here, between the people who try to make their home here. People like Rodney and Cecilia. Like, Mother Tribute is terrible and what she wants to do to you is wrong. But look, Rodney, if we agree to get up and go, walk away and never come back, will you let us? And that is what I want to. I'm going to extend a string for that.
Rodney like looks, like glares and glowers at you, and like sees that like what you're saying is you're finally seeing it his way partially, but like that you're still choosing Arden over anyone else. And I think that what he does is like he like walks around, is like Arden like still on the ground or something. Yeah. So like walks around and then just kind of like puts a toe under Arden and like kicks him towards Sammy. Like not necessarily trying to hurt him, but also not gracefully picking him up and like putting him on his feet. And Rodney looks up at Cecilia and is just like, I just want him gone. I don't care anymore.
Arden, will you come with me? Can you admit that this is over now?
Sammy, if we go, we may be running away from our chance to do the good we were supposed to do here all along.
What good are we doing here? Look around. Rodney's right.
I think is how's Ringleader King doing?
He will need to go through a lot of physical therapy to be able to lift his arms above his head again.
I think I want to see if I can shift him, like even if I'm like summoning over a sideshow worker to do it. I want to try to get him out of this place of danger.
Yeah, I mean, if any of the sideshow people try to approach King or Arden or Sammy, I'm going to head them off. I'm keeping this fight confined to the four of us.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that, because if Arden is, saying something like, "All right, we don't need to do this here, but let me help the ringleader. Don't you care about him?"
You're asking.
Good.
Yeah, that's like.
Was that directed at me or Cecilia? Sorry, I may have.
Yeah. This is primarily. This was addressing the sideshow, and then I thought Cecilia was getting in the way.
Right.
Yeah, I'm happy
Yeah.
to have that.
Yeah, it's like. It's like, finish Arden off, Rodney, and then the rest of them can help can help this traitor.
Why do you need Rodney, Cecilia? You afraid to do it yourself?
I mean, I think you're trying to goad me into doing.
I'm gonna. I don't have a string to suspend, but I'm gonna shut you down. I'm gonna be like, you're all talk. You keep people in your awe, and like she's in her her crazy harpy form right now, but like Arden's just like staring levelly at her, and it's like, but you don't scare me, because I see there's nothing there, nothing under the feathers.
Ooh. Roll that shutdown.
Yeah, come on. That's a miss, because my cold is -1.
Yeah, and I think someone
It's also
else.
an advancement, and I'm taking a +1 to cold, because this is ridiculous.
Yeah, but I think someone had been told about this, had been told to come to the carnival at around a certain time. As a crossbow bolt hits Arden in the leg, and Betsy shows up. But the thing is, Sammy's nearby. And Sammy, do you still love Arden?
Yes, I still love Arden.
So Sammy, you take the 1 harm, as the spell sympathetically makes your leg bleed. And Betsy shows up reloading a crossbow.
Oh no! Betsy is not coming between me and my prey. I am lashing out at her. This is my prize.
Just to flag this, if I'm counting Betsy as a unicorn hunter, and Cecilia helps chase Betsy away, Cecilia will get an XP for
Yes, technically.
Yeah. Okay, so that is. Yeah, so that is a 9. Do I have a string on her?
She's befouled. You want to? No, there's a condition you've levied on her. I think she might be.
I mean, I'm befouled, but I have a string on Betsy, so I'll spend a string to boost that up to a 10.
Okay. Yeah. So you swoop down, grabbing the arm with the crossbow, and you lift her up just high enough that you drop her on the ground. She lands with a sickening crunch. But Arden, She has
Oh,
a string on. She has a
yeah.
string on you. She's going to spin that and look so pathetic, so weak, so needy. She wants you to help her.
And I just want to point out that I have a crossbow now, so I don't have to lay a talon on.
Yeah. Okay. Um. So the remind me when an NPC spends a string, it's like
This is a reaction. She's a hint. Basically what I'm doing with this reaction is I'm keeping you from just running away.
it's
Her fall, like you are too awestruck by this like feeling of anguish to run away at the moment.
yeah. I mean, I think I may even run over and say, both of you, what is this? One of you's trying to drink my blood. One of you's trying to shoot me with a crossbow. Now you're fighting each other. You're the worst cousins ever.
Can I gaze into the abyss at some point?
Stop
You
it.
certainly can, Rodney, because this is some chaotic stuff. It seems like a perfect time for a minotaur to gaze to the abyss.
Right? Especially when I'm seeing red, so that I can gaze into the abyss with my volatile.
Yay!
Oh, and I needed it because it's a 7. But let me say actually what I was looking for. So I'm looking for a way to end all of this without, killing Arden, but also without jeopardizing everything for the circus. And I'm just like, what would happen if I just smashed his horn?
Oh. And you see the wooden cudgel given to you by Mother Tribute. You see it smashing the horn, and you see with the powder, the sparkles falling down Arden's face, Sammy becoming a normal person.
So yeah, I think that I kind of hulk up and start I pull the club out and I start striding towards Arden and Betsy on the ground, and I raise the club up and I am gonna lash out at Arden.
Okay. Go ahead.
It's a 5.
Well, Arden is a reagent. That's +1.
Okay.
I
And
will
then I'm going to
a
spend
string
one of
to
my
get-
strings on him.
Wait. Oh no, I can't. Can I do that?
No, you can't take a roll down.
There's no hindering in this game.
Got it.
But I am going to spend one of my strings on Arden to add that +1.
So, do you go your darkest self? Does Arden gain a string on you, or do I decide how much harm is dealt?
You're going to decide how much harm is dealt and whether my blow swung true.
It swung true. It hit the horn. It did not destroy the horn. There's a crack in it. No harm is dealt, but the spell tying Sammy's life to Arden's life is gone. You have shattered it. Any harm dealt to Arden will be dealt to Arden now.
I think Arden stumbles, right? Taken by surprise by this blow to the horn. It's like having a funny bone, in your head that's ringing, right?
But Sammy, you feel the magic that you had protecting Arden snap. You feel your heart almost break a bit as the love you were funneling into Arden is not destroyed, but it almost feels like he broke up with you for a minute, or before you come back to reality. What is Sammy doing when he's not listening to you? He's not leaving. He's continuing to fight. What is Sammy feeling?
So I think Sammy, he has that moment, and his love for Arden it's not exactly wavering, but the sense of Arden's righteousness, watching sort of what his insistence on this saving the carnival has wrought, is sort of collapsing. not collapse, too strong a word, but like the that pure love, that like concern and care, and like trying to pull Arden out of this like sort of self-destructive savior complex thing that he's got going on, that Sammy's only just sort of starting to recognize, even though Rodney's been telling him about it for this entire game. So I think, and I think what Sammy's going to do two things. Number one, he's going to wrap that bolo tie tight around his hand. And he's going to cast in my shoes. Right, so that Arden can feel like that like core feeling of love and concern. And I'm not necessarily, like, I try to think, I don't necessarily know that there's a condition here. Like, it's not besotted, it's not infatuated, right? It's
Devotion? Devoted?
Devoted. Yes, I like that. It's devoted. But this is less about, like, I don't have a tool right now to push on that really. But I'm gonna say something like, Arden, we're not doing any good here anymore. I love you. You know it. For your own sake, for everybody's sake, let's just go.
Roll that dark to cast this hex.
And
you can tag reagent. That does affect magic.
Yeah. That is 8, 9, 10, and 11 with reagent.
Wow.
So it just works, right? That's the. I mean,
Arden takes the devoted condition and feels everything you're feeling.
Oh, Sammy. I'm so sorry. I dragged you into a mess here. I think I am going to spend one of my strings on Rodney, just to give him a condition, since he took a swing at my unicorn horn. I'm going to look at Rodney and say, I'm so sorry for you. You just can't stop lashing out. And I know it's because you're afraid. And then I'm just going to start limping away towards Sammy.
Oh yeah, you do gain another string for that lash out physically roll on Arden, Rodney. But yeah, Cecilia, you see your prey limping away. You have a crossbow. What do you do?
Yeah, I'm going to try to shoot him in the leg.
Oh, the other leg?
Well, I think like because of the sympathetic magic, Sammy has like the limp pretty much. Like,
right.
Oh, really? Like I'm just walking with the arrow in my leg, but without being affected by it.
Yeah,
Got it.
the spell that piece still holds, even though it's just new damage, new harm.
Right. Oh, and that's an 11.
Ooh, so yeah, Arden, I think this pierces a lung because like it's a crossbow. You take 2 harm.
Right. Well, I'm not attacking with my feathers and talons, so I'm not sure if the Alkanost move applies.
I'm not applying Alkanost. Because it's a crossbow. It's greater than 1 harm.
Okay.
Just narratively. And but yeah, and since you didn't attack with your talons, the prophecy does not enact. But yeah, Sammy, you see Arden coming towards you, finally giving in, and this crossbow bolt pierces his chest, and he coughs up some blood as Cecilia I don't think Cecilia has another bolt on her unless she like lands on Betsy and takes one
No,
from her.
no. I just got whatever the crossbow was loaded with. I think so. Yeah.
I think like the blood is a little silvery, right?
Mhm.
And like kind of there's like starlight reflected in it. But yeah, Arden like hits like goes to his knees, you know, kind of clutching the crossbow bolt. I kind of tell me if this is a move I need to do, but I kind of hope that I'm very close to where Ringmaster King also fell wounded,
Mhm.
and like can like just reach over with some of my own blood on my hand and like just touch him with it in the hopes that this helps in some way.
Oh, that works.
Nice.
And it works in fiction too. So I mean, it's not just like here's some blood. Oh, that did nothing. But yeah, even though King is healed, I don't think I think he's still in shock from a fucking harpy leaping at him through smoke.
Oh, legit. I just want to.
You want to narratively, you don't want him to die.
I want to do good in the world. That's all I want.
So yeah, Rodney, what are you doing?
I'm just so like frustrated that like I tried to kill them and it didn't work, and I tried to let them go and it didn't work, and I am at such a loss for what to do that I look down at the club in my hand and I look over at Arden, and I'm gonna go over and I'm just gonna do like a minotaur and take out my frustrations on him.
Roll it.
That is a 12.
Arden, you are now skirting death. You may lose all strings. You may go your darkest self, or you may die.
Okay. So it's like a half hour out here. Boy.
I'm saying this would be a dramatic time to die.
It would be. Let me read my darkest self again.
Oh, you basically just ask everyone. You are worthless. You are pathetic. You are miserable. You are a worm.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've been edging up to that in a lot of ways already. Yeah, I think it's I think I gotta go full darkest self right now. So, like, how do I skirt death?
The club would have dealt 2 damage to you, so I think you're going to be at 1 harm because you would have gone back to 0. But I think, like, you pull out, you go forward, the crossbow bolt like shit comes out of your chest. Your own blood is, I guess, healing you a bit because you're a unicorn, but you just feel this lack of ego, this lack of self driving you. Maybe you deserve to be sacrificed. Look at how everyone's gotten hurt and terrified because of what you've been doing. Even Sammy. What have you put Sammy through?
Yeah, I think you see the like tears streaming down Arden's face, as he's like kind of. I think he kind of like lies on the ground, like arms spread, in like a cruciform pose, and he says, "You're right. I wanted to bring good things to this carnival, but all I've done is sow terror and division. Maybe I'd be better off just giving up my heart's blood, letting you live on. You know better how to deal with this. All I've done is hurt people and hurt those I cared about the most."
My God, Arden, no, it's not.
It's
It's
all
not
right.
all or nothing. There's
It's all
good to
right,
be
Sammy.
done in the world.
It's all right, Sammy. You're free now. I know I've taken you for granted and taken advantage of you. You'll be happier on your own. Just
There's.
leave me.
I start like dragging Arden towards the exit to the tent. I'm like, it doesn't have to be everything or nothing. There's good to be done in the world, even if we failed to do good here. So
And then,
long as
like,
you're still there, when you're gone, you're gone. Forget your magic, you.
while this is happening, Rodney just like shakes his head and just like looks at Sammy and is just like, when are you going to understand that you can't save him? You can't save him from us. You can't save him from himself. You keep holding him up like he's going to answer all your prayers.
You've taught me one important thing here, Rodney. Because you're right, I can't save him. And he's not the answer to my prayers. But he's a person who's trying so hard to do good in this world, good in his life. And yeah, he fucked it up. But we can maybe go and try again somewhere else. But not if I leave him here with Mother Tribute. And I don't think that's a shutdown. I don't think it's quite sharp enough for that, but
I think we're having a very heart-to-heart moment.
yeah.
So yeah, Cecilia, what are you doing?
Cecilia, she shrieks, "Enough!" And she swoops down and she batters Sammy with her wings.
Ooh, loophole perhaps. Dusty, why? Loophole perhaps. Roll that volatile.
I want to submit that this roll might determine exactly, how far the prophecy extends and whether it kicks in here.
I know that's a good thing.
Oh, that is a 6, but I can spend a string, so I will boost that up to a 7.
Okay, so you're already in your darkest self. Does Sammy gain a string on you, or do I decide how bad the harm is?
I think you decide how bad the harm is.
Okay, so, oh, lords. You batter Sammy aside with a wing. This is like a goose or a swan on steroids, basically, and their wings hit like baseball bats. But Sammy, how much harm have you taken?
Just one.
Okay. And Alkanost improves the harm by 1. Crap. Sammy, I'm sorry, but you are also skirting death now.
I don't think Darkest Self is interesting here. I don't think that's where Sammy's at. Sammy's been through that and is out the other side. I don't have that many. Like the mechanically easy thing to do is just lose my strings, of which I don't have very many anymore that are useful here. But part of me thinks that dying might be the right thing to do here. I feel like there's, yeah.
Remember the prophecy that you bring back magic to the carnival has to come true in some way or another, but can totally be folded in here, I think.
Yeah, I mean, that may end up happening in epilogue somehow,
Mhm.
right? But I think this is it for Sammy.
Yeah, so your wing smashes into Sammy's solar plexus. There is the sound of bones shattering. And Arden, you look in Sammy's eyes as the light and love dims. Sammy collapses, never to rise again. And the sideshow, who had been behind Sammy, who were terrified, scatter.
Maybe you should have asked if that was okay with everybody else.
Oh, yeah.
But okay.
I think I think what Sammy was saying to me right before this moment, was leading towards the release condition for my darkest self. Just because the next thing I'm going to do is a different darkest self, but not the unicorns. Does that seem plausible? Sorry.
I don't. What do you mean, a different darkest self?
Oh, I'm gonna try to gore Cecilia now.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Which isn't consonant with the unicorn darkest self, but the release condition for mine was when someone reflects to you a glimmer of your own self-worth, which sounded like exactly what Sammy was trying to do mere moments ago before Cecilia struck.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, this is a sad ending, no matter how we toss it.
I mean, I certainly agree with that, but yeah, I think Arden says, "Sammy, no!" and just lowers the horn and charges. Boy, do you have a relevant condition? Did I make you? I made you.
Do you want to spend a string to make them a target or something, or?
I don't have a string on. I don't have a string on Cecilia.
Oh.
So I'm just going with my +1 volatile here, I guess. Unless I also say, get your dirty claws off of them. To get befouled for the +1.
Sure, go for it.
Yeah, that's a 8 overall.
Okay, so do you go back to your darkest self? Do they get a string on you, or do I decide how bad the harm is?
You decide how bad the harm is.
And Cecilia has no harm, I believe.
Right.
I think this is part of the. You think Cecilia will take 2 harm, but it's like it gores Cecilia, but Arden is right within your grasp, and it is. And I think Betsy is even with her broken, clawed up arm, is crawling towards where you drop the crossbow to try and take her shot again. But it is a clusterfuck right now. And Rodney, how are you handling this?
Yeah, Rodney sees Sammy's body just crumple, and finally realizes why he cared so much the entire time was just because he wanted Sammy to like him. And Cecilia was the reason that that's never going to happen. So Rodney is going to lash out at Cecilia as well.
With the club, I take it?
Yep.
Roll that volatile.
So that is a 9 plus my volatile, which is a +2, 10, 11.
Do you want to spin a string on? Do you have a string on Cecilia?
I do.
Do you want to spin a string to increase the harm by +1?
Yes, I do.
Cecilia, you are skirting death. You can't go in your darkest self. You can either lose all strings you have, or also collapse and be with Sammy.
Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, I think that was it. I am also dead.
And I think with Cecilia like crumpling and going back into her normal form, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Mother Tribute's last bit of life energy sputters, and in her trailer, she bends forward over her soup, never to breathe again. But Arden and Rodney, you are by yourself. Everyone in the tent has scattered. Even the people outside are gone. Betsy is crawling towards the crossbow, but she's not going to make it. Even if she could, she can't shoot it. Your friends are dead. Your companions are gone. There doesn't seem to be much magic left. What do you do?
Are you happy now, Starlight? You've changed the circus forever.
It wasn't supposed to be this way. Oh, Sammy. Cecilia.
Don't pretend like you're sad that she's gone. Don't pretend that you're sad that any of them are gone. I don't even believe that you're sad Sammy's gone.
You really should believe that. I've called you a lot of things, but I've never called you stupid.
In the end, I'm the one who knew the most out of all of you. The big dumb lunk. I got all of you figured out, exactly who you were. I called it before any of you did any of this. And here we are, and I was right.
Yeah, very impressive that you can thread any maze except for the one in your own heart.
What are you trying to do?
Oh.
You keep trying to tear me down.
Oh, let me roll that shutdown.
God damn.
That has, no chance of succeeding. Well, no, my cold is 0 now, so it's all straightforward. Honestly, it's also taking advantage of afraid of being alone. So that's a 10 actually.
So yeah, does he lose a string on you? Do you give him another condition, or are you going to take one forward to your next roll?
No, I've given him so many conditions. I'm going to say he loses a string on me.
Okay.
And I'll say, you were right about this place taking idealism from me. Does that give you any satisfaction?
And he looks like Rodney just looks around and smiles, like looks around and then like looks down at your like kind of like broken body and was just like, no, but I know what will. And he like wraps a hand around your throat. And just so you know, my move in the maze is when I add 1 to all rolls towards anyone who has shut me down in this scene. So, and I'm also going to spend that other string that I have to just add like an additional +2 to my already +2 volatile.
Come on, Snake Eyes.
It's a 10.
Sweet fluffy Jesus. Arden, what do? You are skirting death.
I'm skirting death again?
I think. Well, wait, you're at 1 harm? That would be 1 harm. Yeah, no, you're not. Yeah, that would only be 2 harm. So you're being choked. Unless you've already spent the string, so you can't spend a string to give it more harm. Oh, dear God, this is sad. But yeah, you're choking.
Yeah, okay, great. I think I'm like grabbing at Rodney's hand, and like my eyes are welling with tears again. And I'm gonna just like buck back and forth, trying to shake free and run away. How's that?
That sounds fine.
All right.
I think you can tag. Oh no, being afraid of being alone probably wouldn't work, but
I mean,
He's enraged. You might want to tag enraged to run away from the madman.
yeah,
No pun intended. But
yeah. Honestly, my horn may just my horn may literally be flashing red, right? As like
like an old video game boss.
well, because I'm on the brink of death again. But like maybe if this sounds okay, Daryl, like Rodney's vision is filling up with red, and that's going to actually give me more cover in this moment.
Oh yeah, that's definitely like doing my namesake proud. So
Yeah. All right. So I'm tagging in enraged here. And I rolled a 6 on the board plus my volatile plus enraged to make that an 8.
So do you leave something behind? Do you run something worse, or do you make a scene when you leave?
I mean, story wise, I am leaving something behind.
Your innocence.
And Sam E.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think I run. I I'm just like batting aside, tent flaps, just kind of running blindly through the carnival, and where I'm heading eventually is back to the coven to tell them that I couldn't save Sammy.
And I think, unless there's anything else, that is the end of the game and the carnival. So yeah, for those 2 who are alive, epilogues. Arden, what happens to you?
I think that Arden is, dealing with this kind of insupportable loss here, right? Of the person who was closest to him, who he feels like he completely failed and never appreciated, and so he decides that, as a person, he's he's not able to continue being a person. So he's going to ask the coven to transform him to the equine unicorn form, and just like some nights, people in the carnival will think they see something silvery, glistening in the starlight, moving furtively through the forest, and people wonder what would happen if they followed it, but so far no one's dared.
And Rodney, what happens with you?
So the last thing we see of Rodney is he goes to Jackson's house and just like breaks down crying, and just asks Jackson, he's like, the carnival's done, I need to go, and I want you to come with me because you're the only family I have anymore. And
He loves you still. He didn't see what you did. He didn't know there's a unicorn involved. He'll leave town with you.
yeah.
Someone has to have a happy ending.
Yeah, they hit the road together, like probably like riding off on a Harley or something.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you all. That was heartbreaking. I'm going to stop the broadcast, do debrief, check in with everyone, and thank anyone who's been watching.